Good morning, everyone. And we have some breaking news here. If you haven't seen it already, I welcome you guys to this little spontaneous live stream with Stig and I. And
You
it is
you
about
know,
Bane. So,
if
hello.
people have seen it already, it's not breaking news, is it?
Well, it could be, it could be. Who knows? Because some people have not seen it when I started advertising this live stream. So,
Hmm.
but it's still breaking news because it's fairly new. And
Oh,
yeah,
also, hello there.
there you go. So good
Had, hadn't
morning,
hadn't
everyone.
hadn't hadn't said it in a while.
Yeah, he was itching. He was itching for this. All right, so we have. Let's go ahead and recognize the chat, and we'll get into this news here. Norn Blythers, hello, and
Blithers.
Lady, hello.
She
And
got a quote tweet today from William Shatner.
oh yeah,
Yeah, Captain Kirk quoted her.
nice, good job. All right, Zagarat 315, hello. And then Kashik Queen, how you doing? Love you, lady. Love you guys, all of you. Um, let's see here. Razvin, hello.
No, it says, "Oh hell no."
I said hello to him, but he said, "Oh
Oh,
hell no."
oh,
Yes. And then Jedi Padawan Trayla. Okay, so looks like we have a good crowd coming in already. So, all right, so let's go ahead and kick this off here. This is about Darth Bane, but then it also is gonna. We are also gonna talk about how it is and what it means for Legends characters are basically original Star Wars characters, George Lucas era characters, just to be exact. And I do say his characters because even the EU, they are a part of his lore that he established. So they are
A-
essentially his.
actually, Bane is his character because he was talking to Terry Brooks
Yeah.
when Brooks was to
Mhm.
write the episode one novel,
Yes.
and Brooks had been talking to him about where did this rule of two start,
Yeah.
and Lucas said, yeah, it was the Sith back in the day that came up with it, because and then the explanation came, because they'd always get stronger because the master would kill the would get killed by the apprentice and stuff.
Yeah.
And Terry Brooks said, well, does this guy have a name? And Lucas said no. And Terry Brooks suggested, how about Bane? Because he's the Bane of the Jedi. So Darth
Ooh.
Bane,
Yeah.
and Lucas approved it on the spot.
Yep. I remember that because I did do a review on Darth Bane trilogy novels. So, and I want to be able to share those fun facts too. And I haven't done a fun fact or lore video in a quick minute. And so those will be coming. Um, yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look at the article right now. And then we'll get into further discussion. And mind you, we are also going to review the rule of two and what that means, for the Disney canon. And but we're not going to get there just yet. So I'm not going to go into depth on this article here, but basically, why are you in my way? They're planning a return of Darth Bane into the new lore. Now, the thing is that we see Darth Bane in the Clone Wars, I believe season 6 it is.
Yeah, he's a force spirit, and it's voiced by Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, he's on Dagobah in the cave,
Hmm.
because the cave on Dagobah in the Clone Wars. No, sorry, Rebels or Clone Wars. I'm not sure, but it has stairs.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that in the movie. It's a cave in the movie. It's not
Yeah.
a buried temple shit.
Yeah.
So
And they're
Filoni retconned the cave on Dagobah.
oh Lord, yes, and that's one thing too that I think people don't realize that that was retconned as well by him, or screwed up by him, however you want to put it in words here. So we do see him that. So what does that mean? Well, I will now officially say, and I know it's not official, but I myself will officially say that the Clone Wars is no longer a part of Legends lore anymore. It is now officially a part of Disney Lucasfilm lore. um So what does that mean for Bane then? Is he really canon to them, or is he not? Is it this called quasi canon because the Clone Wars has a lot of tie-ins, or loosely tie-ins, or recklessly tie-ins with the original lore. So what does that mean for everything? Like we see going forth.
Well, a lot of the force-based deeds that Bane does, and even Xana, shouldn't be possible in Disney canon because he can overdose on the force in that one.
Yeah. Like even with the what is it called, the abelisks or whatever, the bugs, the parasites on his body, they enhance his force. So there's kind of like a what do you call it when there's kind of like an agreement, I guess you could say, between the host and the parasites or whatever, and I forget what it's called, but they enhance his force abilities as well, and protect him, for them living off of him. And I know it sounds very, very gross, but that's just the partnership. That's just what happens, with some type of parasites. And that's even common in real life, parasites, they have this, they feed off of like there's certain like parasites that could feed off of plants, and then in turn the plants will protect them. And so they have this little symbiotic kind of little agreement going on.
Yeah, parasites are kind of like, it's summer and then Swedish tourists show up. That's parasites.
Oh my God. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at this really quick. Disney is definitely expanding on its plans for Star Wars. And this is from direct beta. So again, take this with a grain of salt, I guess you could say. But I thought this would be something great to chat about this afternoon, or this morning for me. What does this mean for Legends, or what does this mean for classical Star Wars versus the new? And are they running out of ideas? And what about, not having any source material?
Yeah, what happened to that? No source material.
Yeah. So
And
basically, go ahead.
here's the article with a picture of the source material on it.
Exactly. Exactly. And he is one of my favorite characters. It's hard. Sometimes I switch between favorite characters because they're all good. They all are written good, and expanded good in the lore. And I
Yeah.
thought that would be what Disney Lucasfilm would have done, saying we want to do our own, we want to go on our own way, make our own characters. So I thought, well, maybe they're gonna, explore different areas of Star Wars and give us a new amazing characters, not no friggin' Mary Sue bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be honest. In the Bane trilogy,
Mhm.
I read two of them so far, though. I haven't read the third one. But Darth Xana is OP as hell.
Yeah,
She is.
yeah.
She's a
Oh, she
cool
is.
character and all that, but she's a dark side Ahsoka in some ways.
Yeah, and that's the thing I got to. It would have been so fun to see her story like further be explained.
Yeah.
Like Zana's story, individual novels, and imagine if we would have got that, because there was still a lot of opening. There was still a lot of like lore to open on that end of the timeline
Oh yeah,
before
they
PT.
they were gonna they were gonna go from the Old Republic all the way up to Episode 1
Yeah,
eventually, and they were gonna do the time period from Crucible to the Legacy comics as well.
yeah.
But and I know for a fact I saw somewhere that they were talking about a a 2-book series on Darth Xana as a follow up to Bane, but Disney canceled it even though there was no female characters in Star Wars back then. So
Yeah,
and
and
and there was going to be a Nomi Sunrider
yeah,
novel, I think, and the Jaina Solo trilogy. That's actually
yeah,
what they canceled. 5 books. Actually, the Nomi Sunrider was supposed to be one about Nomi and one about the sister. So there's 2.
yeah,
So two of those, and then 2 of Xana, and 3 of Jaina Solo. So that's 7 books with
yeah.
female leads, and they canceled them.
Exactly. And it's just it's very disappointing, but then also too, it just kind of makes you laugh because, they justified their female lead
Yeah.
with, oh, no female, there was no female leads in Star Wars ever. And then people will justify it saying, well, they're talking about the films. But when you look at the structure of the films, you have three protagonists.
Yeah.
And that's how George wrote it. For the OT, it's Luke, Leia, and Han, and then for the PT, it's Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme. And there are three leads. Yes, one had a focus because they were Skywalkers, but all three of them as protagonists contribute a lot to what was going on, and we followed their stories heavily.
Yeah, and when I watched the prequels,
Mm-hmm.
and that was when I was really getting into the novels and the comics and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
And when I read that, and I saw, Ayla Secura or Barris or something made an appearance in the movies,
Yeah.
and I picked up a book, and then oh cool, Luminara and Barris is in this one, awesome. I want to learn about them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of fans had the same, feeling about it. If everyone wanted to know about the other Jedi's, not just Anakin and Kenobi.
Exactly.
Everyone wanted to learn about Plo Koon and Mace Windu and Barris and Luminara, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
they wanted to see Ayla Secura's boobs everywhere.
Yeah. Well, you're being honest about that, and yeah. Yeah. Poet Scotty, it's not, I would say that as long as my channel's around, I will try to keep the heart of it alive, and that's George Lucas era, and that's included the movies, the games, the comics, the novels, short stories, whatever, what have you. It's person's choice and where they want to stay. Yeah, we may not never get any more original Star Wars, or classical Star Wars, but it's still all there. It's still there to be read, and cherished. And this is what this channel is about. So
Also, to chime in on that, it's the Lucasfilm Star Wars, or rather the George Lucas Star Wars, is not dead, but you're not getting more of it. So it's alive as long as you have stuff from it you haven't read,
Yeah.
or games you haven't played, or all that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Disney Star Wars, given how they basically put member bears everywhere, it's like they're blurring the line between nostalgia and necrophilia, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
I
Oh my
mean,
God.
they have dead actors in the movies. I mean, come on. And,
Yeah.
and they're doing it for the member berries, right?
Yeah.
It's something's off about that. There's some ethical issue, I'd say. I mean, seeing Tarkin in a movie again, in Rogue One, was kind of cool. But then you're sitting there thinking, Peter Cushing is dead.
Yeah. It's kind of like, yeah. I thought it was okay, but I didn't fully agree with it because,
Yeah, just leave the dead alone.
yeah. Yeah, but Billy says Ayla's, and then I'm pretty sure he means boobs.
Books, I think.
Books?
Yeah,
Ayla's books.
yeah, she has a lot of books.
She has a nice rack of books, right?
Yeah, nice book rack.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I'll book her rack for the evening.
I'm sure you would. The Sentinel, for the purpose of this mythology, the only OP characters should be Luke and Anakin, when anyone else becomes problematic in G canon.
Well, the thing is, Luke wasn't OP.
No.
He got his ass handed to him all through the OT trilogy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But he became more powerful later in the novels. But that's 30 years down the line, after a heck of a lot of training.
Yeah. All right. So, John, how does he return? Well, we haven't even got into this article here because we are just discussing, the dynamics of it all. So let's go ahead and take a look. I don't want to read the whole damn thing. But again, this is rumored. But because he's a part of the Clone Wars, it's a great possibility because Clone Wars is now part of the new canon. So, according to insider Daniel Richmond's Patreon, Disney has plans for multiple projects involving Darth Bane, potentially including a solo project. It's unknown if these projects would be theoretically released movies on Disney Plus series. What does this mean? Darth Bane is a prominent figure in Star Wars history. Well, basically the classical Star Wars, I would say. Um, he is known to be one of the first Sith Lords and lived a thousands years prior. No, there was many Sith before
Oh
him.
yeah, tons of Sith Lords before that.
He's not one of the first. No.
He killed them.
Yeah, exactly. The thought bomb.
Yeah.
But he is the first for the rule of two. So I think that's what they're confusing.
Yeah.
And then he is the most famous for implementing the rule of two amongst the Sith, whereby there can be only one Sith master and one apprentice at the time. And this goes back to and we'll cover this a little bit more about it being retconned in the new lore. So I'm going to read further and I'm going to pull up that article. We're going to have a discussion between that as well. Darth Bane hasn't appeared in any of the Star Wars Futures films, but has been the focus of many Star Wars novels and comics. Well, you forget. Okay, it's coming up. He also made an appearance in season 6 of the Clone Wars. When Disney acquired Lucasfilm, the company made many of the stories that Darth Bane was a part of non-canon. There you go. There's the word non-canon, because that means the EU was canon.
Well, he was canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even have official statements from Lucasfilm from before Disney bought Star Wars that the novels were canon.
Yeah.
But they were susceptible to change if Lucas did something with more movies.
Yeah.
That's it. But the Sentinel asks whoever made the Clone Wars canon on the level of G canon. That happened when Disney scrapped the EU. They said, and I quote, they said everything EU, with the exception of the Clone Wars, was to be labeled Legends, and they would make the Clone Wars canon with the movies. That's what they said. So ergo, Clone Wars was EU.
Yeah.
And everyone knew this back then, but seems a lot of idiots still denies it.
Yeah.
And the Clone Wars was made T canon. They so that was supposed to be TV canon, which was on a lower tier than the movies. And it was created for the Clone Wars and the upcoming Underworld show, which was canceled, which was something George was going to do. And that was also going to be T canon.
Yeah. And that was going to tie into the game 1313, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. See, there you go.
It was going to be about the gangsters in the Star Wars universe, I believe.
Yeah, and that would have been so fun to see. Imagine.
George Lucas said it was going to be Sopranos in space.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. So the Sentinel, why can't they hire different actors to play Tarkin? What about the actor who was hired for cameo at the end of Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, that was Wayne Pygram. For those of you who have watched this Farscape, which is a superb sci-fi show, it's over and done with now. Farscape's villain, Scorpius, was played by Wayne Pygram, who had the Tarkin cameo.
Correct. And the Sentinel, whoever made the Clone Wars canon on the G-level canon. No, the G-level canon was only George Lucas's movies. It didn't even include the Clone Wars whatsoever. It didn't even include all the past cartoon animations like the droids and the Ewok adventures and stuff. So that kind of tells you something. It was only the movies.
Yeah.
Everything else was put down in basically C canon until Filoni decided that he, didn't want to be a part of that tier, and so they went ahead and gave him the T canon.
Yeah, and then Disney, when they scrapped the EU, they said, uh, the EU, with the exception of the Clone Wars, were now canon. The movies were canon, and they said every story-based product from there on out would be on the same importance and on the same canon as the movies going forward.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you pick up a new Star Wars novel, it is just as canon as the movies now, which is retarded because everything Disney's published so far just contradicts either the movies or the other novels, or it's a mess.
yeah.
And I think the story group has given up because the guy who was in charge of the story group said that canon wasn't important anymore. So
Oh, Mr. Matt Martin. Yes, I remember
yeah,
that.
the
I
guy
wish
who
I would have
the guy
saved his
who
clips.
yeah, the guy whose job it is to keep continuity in canon publicly says canon is not important. So ergo, his job is pointless.
Yeah, and I'm quoting what do you call it? Doc on Tombstone. The strain was more than he could bear, and
Yeah,
that's why he.
yeah.
So that's why he stated that. Because look at Leland. If anything, Leland Chi and I kind of like have my mixed feelings about him now, but him and Sue Rastoni were the ones that kept everything in line. Leland, created the holocron database, along with Sue, from built upon what Sue Rastoni was doing, and so you would think that Disney Lucasfilm, would be that smart to have Leland pick up those reins again and start keeping track again, but no.
I I don't envy Matt Morton though, because I'm thinking the work environment he's in is not good.
Yeah,
Because I'm thinking as soon as he contradicts or tells a woman, yeah, you can't do this, he'll get accused of being sexist and mansplaining, right?
oh yeah, there we go. Hi, Miss Martin Muses, how you doing? And anybody else coming in to participate and watch um, and participate in the chat with this breaking news or this news about supposedly Bane may be returning. I welcome you guys. So please hit that like button and share. So let's go ahead and finish this article so we can get out of this painful little ordeal. Again, this is the direct beta. And I would say take this with a grain of salt, but there is that possibility because again, he was in the Clone Wars. So Darth Bane hasn't appeared in any. Okay, I read that one. Let's see, where did I leave off at? When Disney acquired Lucasfilm, the company made many of the stories of Darth Bane non-canon, but it looks like Disney may have be preparing to set up its own canon story for the Sith Lord. Seen as Darth Bane is said to have existed thousands of years before most of the stories on the Star Wars timeline, it would be difficult for him to appear in any of the modern storylines. Well, he appeared in the Clone Wars, and so, but I get what they're saying because he is an ancient Sith. But what does that mean again? Because of the fact that they're even redoing the Sith culture in a sense. So,
The next line though,
yeah,
they
go
say
ahead.
he could appear in the High Republic era that Disney's currently launching. It
Oh,
wouldn't surprise me
uh
if
huh.
they stuffed him in there just to try and sell the High Republic, because idiots are going to go, oh wow, Bane, right? It's not going to be Bane. It's just Bane, and the name Bane. It's not going to be the same character.
No, and he'll probably look like the Bane, that image of Bane that was recreated in the Clone Wars, because the Clone Wars Bane looks different than the original lore.
Yeah, yeah, he doesn't even look human.
Yeah,
Looks like a ghost monster thing.
yeah, you would still see him with his tattoos, his robe, whatever he looked when he, died. Just like
Yeah,
when we seen Exar Kun, he looked similar from when he was back then in the ancient Sith times. So I mean, it is what it is. So, since you already covered that one, and they also said, they may even give him a solo backstory or a solo story as well. And so that's the end of this. It doesn't, so those are just what ifs and where
yeah.
he could possibly be put at.
it might not even be true.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, how many shows and movies have we heard rumors about so far? You know, there's a Lando show. There's a uh,
Mm-hmm.
there was talk of a Han Solo one, a Mace Windu one.
Yeah.
It's yeah, and the two other links I found, you know, with more rumors. Uh, I don't know if you want to get into those, but
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We will. If you, we will here soon. Let me. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up
oh,
the.
to everyone in the chat, if you think the Darth Bane rumor is retarded, you've seen nothing yet because we have worse things
Oh
to
yeah.
report on. Way worse.
Yeah. And it feels like they're just reaching for whatever they can find just to, validate their messy storyline. They have to reach into the trove of goods for to make something. So here is this right here, and we're going to touch basis on this. And then we'll go on to the next story here. So basically, they retconned the rule of two, not in the original novel. I wouldn't say the original novel, but not in the novel Return or The Rise of Skywalker, but in the children's or the junior novel. And basically, what they did is that when Rey was reading over the texts and studying all the Jedi lore texts and whatever, what have you, basically she read that the rule of two was just the master and apprentice together ruling over all the Sith that are alive still during that time. How does that sound? I mean, compared to what we know about Bane and his theory about rule of two.
Yeah, and you know, if just glancing at this article, that they're getting a lot of facts completely wrong as well, because
Mm-hmm.
they're mentioning that Dooku took on Savage Opress and Ventress,
Mm-hmm.
and in the Clone Wars, Dooku says it flat out to Ventress that she's not a Sith. He's
Mm-hmm.
not trained her as a Sith. He's trained her as a Dark Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't Sith training.
Yeah.
Maul being around, that's just because Filoni can't write villains, so he just had to bring one back.
Yeah.
You know, and he, Oppressed didn't get Sith training. He got more or less Dark Jedi training, really.
Yeah. Let me see here. So yeah, I wanted just to cover this really quick because they did, change that rule of two. And that means that rule of two was, we know that eventually Palpatine was starting to change the rule of two for himself. But we see the change of the rule of two really be a fact when it came to Darth Krayt. So there's an evolution of the Sith and how they decided to rule over their own, their own people, I guess you could say, their own the Sith themselves. And so there has to be a progression. But when you take a look at the movies and how we know that they say in the prequel trilogy, they talk about the rule of two then. And so they're retconning the PT with this as well.
Yeah, yeah, because if there's more than two Sith in the High
Mm-hmm.
Republic, and Yoda's around and he sees a Sith, basically,
Mm-hmm.
or someone else sees a Sith or two and tells him about it.
Mm-hmm.
His
Exactly.
line in episode one will make no sense.
Yeah, always two there are. No more,
Yeah,
no less.
and the Sith have been extinct for a millennia.
Yeah.
That's what the
According to
Jedi.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the Jedi Council, including Yoda, thinks.
Yeah.
So if there's any Sith being seen in the High Republic, uh, that's marvelously stupid.
Yeah. No, I don't know if you guys can see this. Is not a really good picture shot, but this is Darth Bane in the Clone Wars. So look at his image and compare and contrast. There we go, Stig. There's my words. Um, between him and the Clone Wars and how he looked. He's supposed to be a Sith spirit or ghost here. So that's just a picture of him as well.
You know,
So,
in the KOTOR games and other games where you encountered Sith spirits,
mhm,
none of them wore armor.
yeah.
They were in robes,
Mm.
and Bane never looked like that.
No, he did not. Okay, Razvan, wait, say what again, please? I don't know what you're talking about. What a crossover with Star Trek. That's the worst.
Uh, Actually, that would probably be better than a sequel trilogy.
All right. Mr. Pete channel needs 800 subs. Hello. So the junior novel says there was more than two Sith. Yes, there was
Yeah.
more than two. Basically, on Exegol, the gas station of the Outer Rim, or the the what do you call it? The unknown space or wild space. Um,
Yeah.
there was a Sith army there. There's a Sith army there of that were preparing for Sidious, so when he was murdered, he can transfer his body, and so he had a Sith army already, and other Sith as well, and so that the junior novel stated this, and I am kind of curious to see if like the writer of the junior novel versus the writer of the regular the movie novel, if they sat down and talked about anything
No,
regarding the lore.
no. The one who wrote the novel didn't even watch the movie. I mean, didn't even watch the OT
Yeah.
because she had written that when Palpatine fell down the shaft in Episode 6, his spirit left him halfway
Yeah.
down, and it was just a corpse
Mm-hmm.
that fell the last half. Right? Makes no
Mm-hmm.
sense because he's screaming the whole way down and shooting lightning. Corpses can't do that.
Yeah.
And I asked about that on her Twitter, and she blocked me.
Whoops.
Yep.
Whoa, was my camera not working? Look at that. My camera's not working. I'm just a black square. Hello. Oh crap.
Hmm.
That's fun. What's going on here? Okay, well, I'll stay like this then. You guys can't see my face right now. All right. So, yeah, so I this is I don't know. So Stig, what do you think with them bringing in Legends characters? I know you probably people already probably know your stance on this, but what do you
Well,
think when they start introducing these Legends characters, or these classical characters, into their lore, which they wanted a clean slate, stating they had no source material?
so far every character they've introduced from the previous canon so far
Mm-hmm.
has pretty much gotten ruined because you can easily tell it's not the same characters. They have the same look, they have the same name, but it's completely different, and they're going to do the same with Bane because he doesn't function as Bane in the new
Mm-hmm.
canon.
Yeah.
It's just going to be some guy named Darth Bane,
Yeah.
and I'm sure idiots going to cheer because oh yeah, awesome, Darth Bane, I know him.
Oh, but that tweet was, I should bring that up before we go on to the next stories. So go ahead and go on with your thought.
Yeah, it's not going to be the same at all.
Yeah.
It's going to be someone named Darth Bane that isn't the Darth Bane we know.
Yes.
And I can back that up. All you have to do is watch the sequel trilogy. The Luke Skywalker and the Leia you see in the sequel trilogy. That's not Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
Even Palpatine. Palpatine is so dumb in the sequel trilogy that he literally dies from "Stop hitting yourself."
Exactly.
And
And I think that is quoted by you all the time. Every time I hear a live stream that you may not be on or whatever, and they're talking about that scene, they're like, oh yeah, we love Stig's quote about, stop hitting yourself kind of deal.
yeah, because that's what
So,
happens
yeah.
if Palpatine stops using the Force lightning.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to get it in his face.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all he has to do. Stop the Force lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And and then you have Thrawn. who in Rebels is, I'm just gonna say it, he's retarded.
Yeah.
I mean, he is, oh, I know all this about art. Okay, fine. Then he keeps capturing the rebels, and they keep escaping for dumb reasons like 10 times. So he,
Uh-huh.
like I said before, they turned Thrawn into Gargamel.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a huge difference between even when Zahn brought him back in the novels and in the Rebels, but he appeared in the Rebels first in the new lore. So
Yeah,
that's the foundation for him in the new lore,
yeah.
not the old trilogy and duology and stuff that was written in George Lucas's time,
No, if
but how Filoni brought him in.
yeah, if they hadn't done Rebels and they've introduced Thrawn, it, as he is in the new novels, that would have been fine because he's pretty much the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
But since the canon show Rebels clearly shows us that this guy is completely incompetent
Yeah,
and he's dumb as a sack of potatoes. It
correct.
doesn't make sense. Where did his when did his IQ get raised from 30 to 180? When did
Yeah,
that happen? Right?
yeah. Correct. So we have Lord Vader at Stick Kenobi. I would like to see a Bane TV show.
I hope you get to watch it, and that it's you know a fan film, not an official thing.
Yeah, and the thing is that
Sorry.
we were discussing this, and I don't know if you were in here earlier when we were discussing this in depth. It's not going to be the same Bane because they did retcon the rule of two in the Rise of Skywalker, one of the novelizations, and so he won't be the creator of the rule of two. He won't be what we known him as, seeing him in the original lore. And that's the thing. And we were just, discussing that any Legends character or original character brought in to the new timeline is not going to have the same development. And Stig was just pointing out a good case about Thrawn. Yeah, Zahn knows how to write Thrawn because that's his character.
Yeah, and
However,
if you think about it, uh, Lucasfilm bragged about having hired this group of very creative, diverse writers, right? If you have to copy and paste characters that others have created
mhm,
and just put them into a story, you're not very creative.
yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write this story. It's gonna have Indiana Jones. It's gonna have Rambo and Rocky, and it's gonna be awesome, right?
yeah,
That's essentially what they're doing. There's,
hmm,
there's nothing creative about that.
yeah. Yeah, and in a way, it is a slap in the face of the EU fans that grew up knowing and loving him, or even coming in before the buyout, and even the ones that are coming and returning back to the original lore. It's a slap in the face because it's the original development of the character.
Yeah, but if you think about it, the fact that they're doing it is so incompetent because all they had to do was not scrap the EU
Yeah,
and then just use that to make movies.
because they're already doing it, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
seriously.
But what they're doing now is just that they're trying to basically take pieces of the EU and make something new. It's a
Yeah.
waste of time. It's already made. Just
Hmm.
put it on film, right?
Yeah.
And some of these novels were bestsellers. You
Oh
know?
God, and they still continue to be bestsellers,
Yeah,
and number one and stuff, and it just shows it's the proof in the pudding, And then when you look at them like developing the areas of Star Wars right now, they're doing the High Republican area that's kind of open for new lore, so they could have just left the original content alone, promoted this continued sales of them, maybe done, like little animation kick spin-off of some of the novels. Boom, there you have it.
yeah,
And then expand between legacy and stuff, and then expand the timeline, make it past 35,000 years of lore.
yeah. It's it's like if you get the rights to the Da Vinci Code books, right?
Hmm.
And instead of just adapting them to a movie, you just go, oh yeah, I'm gonna take the lead character and put him in a World War II story.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
essentially what they're doing,
Yeah.
and it doesn't. It's not good. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Lord Vader, I think Darth Bane TC or probably means TV show would be good if they just have to ignore the sequels. Um,
Well, they can't because the sequels are canon.
mhm.
So as long as the sequels are canon, it's part of the overall story. They have to decanonize the sequels.
Yeah, and I don't really see that happening whatsoever. I
No,
really don't. Honestly,
that's
I
not.
don't.
Yeah, because that would be them admitting they fucked up,
Yeah.
and that means oh yeah, female characters didn't work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Pete Channel, the episode Thrawn, just let them go. One episode Thrawn, just let them go.
Yeah, yeah, it did.
Hmm. I liked his introduction in Rebels, but I hated how he ended up. So that was Andre. So he's talking about Thrawn there. I have to go now. Bye, all. See you later. So if you already vamoosed, thank you so much for coming in and supporting the channel. Um, Lady Tauriel, good journey, Mr. Pete. So thank you, Mr. Pete, again for coming in. Let's see here. Okay. Vertical Horizon. They will just pilfer the EU characters and storylines. Don't expect them to respect the lore and history and even the writers.
Yeah, because theft is never respectful.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see here. Ooh, okay, jumped a little bit. They can make Bane work in the new canon. They can just ignore. Okay, I already did that one, unless he repeated it itself. They can go back to the old Republic and heavily explore that area in the new canon.
Yeah, but they won't because uh, what they're
They.
gonna do is I'm pretty sure at some point they're gonna have a Revan
Mm-hmm.
and all that. But given how they've changed the lore so much with the new novels, comics, and the sequel trilogy, almost nothing in the Old Republic storyline, if you think about the game, will make sense. Any kind of sense.
Yeah. Okay, Andre. Wait. What do the sequels probably means have to do? Not or do not to make a Bane series. So, wait. What do the sequels do to not make a Bane series? When you have the novels retconning the rule of two, that retcons Bane. If they're bringing him in, that retcons him as well.
Yeah, because the Bane trilogy is about how the rule of two became a thing,
Yeah,
and
per
they, and
George
they
Lucas.
yeah, and they've already basically decanonized the rule of two, so it will be a trilogy about the rule of two, even though they say themselves that there never was a rule of two. So what? Also, according to the new Star Wars, you can overdose on the Force, and Jedi Jedi ghosts
Yeah,
can now hold lightsabers and have lightning strike people.
yeah. And
So
last time I checked, Force Lightning was a dark side ability. If you did Force Judgment as a Jedi, which is in the original lore, that was still one of those that not many people use because if they can't control themselves from falling to the dark side, if they didn't have that steady control to the Force and their own morals and stuff like that, then it was never used.
yeah, and well, you see it in the in the Last Jedi. Yoda makes lightnings come from the sky,
Hmm.
strike the
Yeah,
tree.
yeah.
So how come a Jedi can't, a dead Jedi?
Hmm.
All he has to do is pick up a lightsaber and kill Darth Bane, because Darth Bane's lightsaber can't harm a ghost Jedi.
Hmm.
So, or they can just stand there and have a lightning strike him from the sky.
Yeah,
It's just so dumb.
yeah. Says Revan was introduced in the Rise of Skywalker novelization. He was mentioned. Yeah, he was mentioned. Basically, weren't like a lot of these beloved Sith from the past in the original lore, weren't they made to be like fleet names and stuff from from Palpatine's little Sith army that he made.
Well, he's probably one of the Sith that filled up Palpatine in the Rise of the
Well,
Skywalker.
I think so, but also I remember looking it up, that he was mentioned as one of the Sith, like, squadron fleets that is named after him, or that's the name of their fleet. So what does that mean with that character? In a whole, if they bring that character in, will he be the same? No, he won't.
No, he won't. It's probably going to be a Chinese transgendered female.
And he said, as at some point in the new canon, ancient Sith Lord named Revan existed. Well, we can say that or we can't, because like I said, the fleet was named after them. Doesn't mean that he existed. It could just be a name. And I remember, I remember them saying that they decided to, honor the EU and us fans of the old EU by naming these fleets after these these characters from that time. But it doesn't mean that these people existed either in their canon. It doesn't.
Yeah, and Dave Filoni decided to piss on Jason Solo by having Hera name her child Jason.
Yeah.
So apparently you can have babies between species now.
Oh yeah.
Hera and Kanan had a baby, and they're two different species.
Yeah, Twi'leks are not compatible. If you look in the
No.
lore, they're not compatible with humans.
No, it's like having a a mountain lion have a baby with a bear. It's not going to work.
Yeah. But I mean, it is the new lore, so I mean, they don't take any special attention to that kind of stuff anymore. So Vertical Horizons, if they really want to have creative freedom and do their own thing, they should make stories thousands of years after the rise of Palpatine. Correct?
Exactly.
I agree with that.
They could just skip 5,000 years ahead, and
Yeah.
it's not going to contradict anything. But if they do that, though, they have to come up with their own stuff, which they're incapable of doing.
Yeah. They were, and this is Razvin, they were incapable to make stories, so they are stealing even more of the old ones.
Well, they hired a bunch of SJWs. Have you ever seen an SJW create anything? It's never happened before. All they do is edit.
Yeah. So I'm not going to try to pronounce your name, darling, but thank you for coming in. Yeah, they also Tide Force died into the Rule of Two, so it would be affected by episode 9.
Wow, why the heck did they do that? Because if they did that, that means both of them had the same skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Force dyad.
Yeah.
So how the hell can Vader not be as powerful as Palpatine?
Correct.
And how could Maul not be as powerful as Palpatine?
Yeah, and then what about when Luke was training with Yoda?
But that's not a dyad thing though, because
I know, but I mean, I wouldn't even see Vader and Palpatine as a dyad.
No, but apparently they've done that.
Yeah, because I mean, that means Palpatine's the chosen one then.
Well, he kind of is, because Rey Palpatine.
No, I'm just saying it's stupid.
Yeah. Actually, it's true though, because Rey Palpatine was the chosen one.
Oh my god.
She was the one. Well, actually, if you think about it, Palpatine himself was the chosen one, because he was the one who destroyed the Sith. Because he died from stop hitting yourself.
Oh Lord, this is such a huge mess. Okay, so Lord Vader, Sith legions were named after ancient Sith lords in The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, and I'm saying it's not. It's a what if right now. There's no hard evidence that these people, these legions legions were named after Sith from the past in their original lore or in their lore. from what I know and I was told, or what I read, is that Disney Lucasfilm decided to honor these beloved characters from George Lucas era and named them after them. Doesn't mean that they exist. But and I will say that until, I will stand on my word right now until I actually see it. But when you do see it, and if it does come in, like they're hinting with this, it's not the same character. We're not going to get the same outcome with, Revan, and we're not going to get the same outcome with Darth Bane, because they're going to be totally rewritten, totally different. It's not the same. So might as well just create new characters for that time frame. And that's the whole point. It's just honor them by leaving them alone and and creating new characters in that timeline. Just like they said, I want creative freedom. That's why, the old EU, or the EU, is now going to be non-canon.
If they wanted a clean slate, and they made a clean slate, why fill it up with stuff that was already there?
Yeah. Because they don't have the creativity. Just like you said, they don't have the creativity.
Vertical Horizons is right. Twilight is better because Twilight is original. It is. Yeah. The writer came up with her own characters and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Did her own lore, and
yeah,
kudos.
Yeah. Soul Assassin, bet you if Filoni part of the Bane series, he's gonna put Ahsoka in it somehow.
Yeah. Ahsoka and Wreck.
Yeah, they're gonna time travel back there because no other Jedi can defeat them. And even though she's not a Jedi, she's the bestest one ever.
Ahsoka sneezes and they do time travel.
Yeah. She sneezes. I thought Twi'leks could bang humans in the EU.
Oh yeah, they can, but they can't have offspring.
Yeah, it's called genetics. There's no compatibility. It's just like if a guy or whatever, they could stick their penis in anything and have fun. Just about anything, as long as it's safe and have fun. Doesn't mean that there's going to be genetics and that they're going to procreate with whatever they're. I mean, sorry, it was that blunt. I'm sorry, but that's just how I see it.
What she means is sheep are okay, crocodiles no.
Holy shit. Okay. And I think I just demonetized my channel. Not this, but this live stream. In the new canon, it stated that the Sith Legions were named after ancient Sith Lords.
Yeah, that they decanonized.
Yeah. And like I said, I didn't see any proof other than that they said that they just named these after the Sith from the past lore. But there was no hints of these guys ever being brought in or being a part of the new lore. And that doesn't make them a part of it either until it happens. And so nothing's happening right now, and I hope it doesn't happen. But again, we are here discussing Bane. Okay? All right. Jedi Padawan trailer. I didn't watch the show, but I just saw a picture of Rebels Jason. What an unfortunate looking child. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Everybody's little gossip about this, the excitement and non-excitement here. Okay. And so we have our lovely Rebecca. I think I will
disturbing though that 1,000 idiots pressed like on that shit.
Yeah. And there's 151 retweets and 65 quoted tweets on this.
I bet you not all of those are positive.
Yeah. More Disney destroys Star Wars. And then, someone's like sick, like excited. I'm guessing that's what.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, and I can't pull up anything because I'm limited to what I can see. Okay, so who's running this project? Have doubts or skeptical about the whole thing. And I agree with you, darling. Of course. No. And then absolutely not. Huh? When, where, and what? And then there's literally new rumors a week about another Star Wars show. Mace Windu, Lando, Rose, Young Palpatine, Old Republic, a Ben Solo spinoff. We're in the middle of a pandemic. These are all just smoke, no fire.
Actually, there was a huge report today that Disney's really bleeding money, and they had to lay off 28,000 employees.
Exactly. And I seen that this morning as I was getting
Yeah.
ready to go work out.
So if they have to lay off 28,000 people, I don't think they can afford to make too many shows like this, and
Mhm.
I don't think they're gonna bet too much on Star Wars because the rise of Skywalker barely scraped a billion, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And that one had a heck of a lot of reshoots. So I don't think they made too much money of that one.
Yeah.
Um, they absolutely made money though, but I don't think it was nearly as much as what it could and should have.
Yeah.
And then you have the merchandise sale for Star Wars stuff has dropped to over 80% since Episode 8 came out.
Hmm.
80%, and that's a heck of a lot of billions lost, basically,
Yeah.
or yeah, that haven't they haven't gotten.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
So and excitement for Marvel is dropping because Captain America and Iron Man are gone now, and they're those two and Spider Man, I guess,
Hmm.
or the heavy hitters of Marvel. So what they do have though is Disney Plus, and I saw something about when Iger uh, basically opened up Disney Plus before Christmas. It might have saved Disney actually,
Yeah.
because they got a lot of money from that, and COVID times are making Disney bleed hard.
Oh yeah, yes, it definitely. I do agree. So we have Lord Vader. He basically says in the novelization that the reason Bane started the Rule of Two was because he wanted to create the Force dyad, and that goes against the original lore of Bane because the Rule of
Oh,
Two was not about a dyad; it was about the Master being the powerful and the apprentice wanting that power, and eventually, as they grow, they will
yeah.
kill the other.
So
That's not a dyad. A
yeah, so
dyad is supposed to be equal in power.
basically right there, that destroys the rule of two.
Exactly.
Yeah, that destroys the whole lore about the rule of two, which
And
means the
that
Darth Bane thing, if they make it, it basically confirms it. It won't be Darth Bane because his motivation is completely different from what the old Darth Bane's motivation was, which
yeah,
changes the character entirely.
yeah, exactly. And it says right here, I mean, canon Sith now try to replicate Force dyad now. Rule of Two isn't about one to embody power and the other to crave it anymore. No, it's not. And that's the whole thing. And that's this discussion here is that they changed up the Rule of Two, which means that even in the PT, in the Phantom Menace episode 1, that is retconned.
You know what they actually did
Hmm.
with that?
Okay.
They actually retconned the Clone Wars
Oh,
because Maul and Palpatine and the others talked about the rule of two and apprentices and stuff all the time in that one,
yeah,
and they never mention a Force dyad at all.
exactly. There you
Because
go.
yeah, because that show sticks to the old rule of two lore.
Exactly.
So the Rise of Skywalker actually pissed all over the Clone Wars too.
Yeah. And then Andre, why would Bane want to create a Force dyad? Yeah, and if you're privy, if you know the Bane trilogy, basically he sees how destructive the Sith are with each other, how they kept on killing each other, and all of that, betraying each other and stuff like that. And so he started, researching. He, sought out holocrons and all this, and he eventually made the Rule of Two. And Darth Zana was the first, benefactor from that.
Yeah.
And then we have, then they go in hiding because they're like, okay, so we're gonna go ahead. And yeah, there were strikes against Jedi, but they did it so carefully that they couldn't even link back what happened to the Jedi and what was going on. So they couldn't even link back it was Sith or anything. That's why the Jedi knew that they were extinct, or they thought they were extinct. And so
Also,
they were very clever.
Well, Open Airlock says that um, they say at the end of Phantom Menace that there's one master, one apprentice.
Hmm.
Why the hell even have an apprentice if you're trying to get a dyad?
Exactly.
It makes
And
no sense to have an apprentice.
yeah, and so if they're saying that, that Bane was creating the Rule of Two for dyad purposes, and they're saying that Kylo and Rey are dyads, does that mean that she's dark side then? Because isn't that the focus?
Yeah, good question.
It's so friggin' confusing.
Yeah, it makes no sense at
Yeah,
all.
exactly. All right, so let's go ahead and go on with these the comments here. Basically, this new canon is tainted forever with the sequels.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Yep. Yep, they will say that Inquisitors have indentured servants to the Sith in life and in death, and can be placed as ghost guardians at certain places.
Well, actually, that wouldn't contradict much, though, if they did that,
Yeah.
because that actually should be possible in the uh, in the old lore as well.
Yeah.
Basically, order some very loyal person who becomes a force spirit to guard an area.
Yeah.
That actually should be, yeah, because in the KOTOR game you have like those guardian spirits in the Sith tombs,
Yes.
so that actually wouldn't be a problem. But
Hmm. And I think people are going to confuse now Inquisitors with actually being Sith. Inquisitors are just dark side Force users. They're not
yeah,
Sith, and there's a huge difference between that.
and that dyad stuff is in that Jedi book,
Uh huh.
so that's probably why Yoda tried to burn it so nobody would read that stupid shit.
He's like, we don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my god! All right, so Razvin, the rule of two is ruse or at base or at best. I'm pretty sure he means best. It was serves only the one Sith. The apprentice is lured to crave the power, kill the master, but the spirit of the master jumps into the new body. This is the ruse. So, what do you think about that, Sith or Stig?
No, because that was never a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was something they tried to put into the Rise of Skywalker, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, no.
Yeah, no. All right. This is only one Sith one. The one Sith is basically in Legacy, and that's with Darth Krayt, but still there's so much depth into that as well. And I'm not going to go into further into that because we're talking about just the rule of two itself. So
Lord Vader is asking what did more damage, The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker? Easily The Rise of Skywalker, because with Palpatine being alive, that
mhm.
means episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are pointless.
Yeah.
George Lucas explains this. The presence of the Sith are what's causing the imbalance. It's not a number thing or anything. It's the fact that the Sith are there.
Yeah.
That's the imbalance. And Anakin's whole story is that he basically falls to the dark side, joins the Sith, then he kills Palpatine and dies himself. Ergo, he fulfills the prophecy. The Sith are destroyed, not set back 30 years. They're destroyed.
Yeah.
So with Palpatine being alive, that nullifies the whole point of episode 1 to 6.
Yeah, and that was even the debate when Dark Empire came, after the PT was, finished. So
Yeah,
that was a huge debate then. And now they just, went ahead and just made it worse with
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and you would think that, like Leland Shee, hello, babe. You would think that with Leland Shee being still part of the story group, and we don't know how much voice he has in this or not with the story keeping or the lore, but but you would think that Leland Shee would say, you know what, when Dark Empire came out, I mean, he may not have been with him during that time, but he could still say, there was problems with it after the PT came about, and I don't think this is a good plan to go on. You think that would have been there would have been that warning, are that care towards the lore, with people who have been with George Lucas. So yeah. But I digress from that one. So Bruce Lombardo, Sting is on. Yes. Let's see here. Those sabers are so whack. So you're talking about the Inquisitor's helicopter sabers?
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on in the chat.
Hey, question for the if you watch Rebels or something,
Uh-huh.
if you chop someone's lightsaber in half,
Uh-huh.
what happens to it? No, sorry, if you drop your lightsaber, what happens to it?
What?
Like if you drop it on the ground.
Doesn't it deactivate?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what it does. In
Yeah.
Rebels, the Inquisitor drops his lightsaber into an engine and it's still active, and that causes a Star Destroyer to explode.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's the light. That's the helicopter lightsaber too.
Oh,
It
fun
just,
time.
yeah, if you drop it, it's still on. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's not how lightsaber works anywhere.
Yeah.
That's Filoni writing for you.
Yeah. And Miss
Mm,
Martin Hughes, she has a great point. So, hello, darling. The Last Jedi broke the character. The Rise of Skywalker broke the lore.
yeah, well, both of them broke lore, but I, I, I'm agreeing with her. Don't, but I'd say that the Rise of Skywalker didn't just break the lore; it broke the universe and all the movies that came before.
Yeah. Why, hello, Will Gentry. How are you doing, darling? He is singing the Baby Shark song. Thank you so much for serenading our chat. I'm not going to sing it. I refuse. All right, Lord Vader. Lady Vader is from the Thrawn trilogy. Lady Vader. That's what, the Nogri called her, Princess Leia. Stig Kenobi, in Disney Star Wars, do you think the rule of two would now be called the rule of 50,000?
I think it should be called the rule of what not to do with a franchise.
Yeah. Just imagine Plagueis in a body of Palpatine. It jumped in when he was killed, smiling at the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. And
You
that's the
know,
thing, is that I don't even know, does he even exist now? I mean, considering he's mentioned in the movies, but does he exist now?
that they're going to put him in the High Republic. I know it because when I had that interaction with that High Republic writer, uh, I said to him, there's only two Sith. We know this. It was Palpatine and Vader and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then Plagueis before that. And then later on, he said, "Yes, I'm looking forward to rereading Plagueis." So I thought that was. It sounded like he was dropping a hint he thought we wouldn't catch. So I
Yeah.
think Plagueis is going to be in the High Republic, and
Yeah.
you can call me out on it if I'm wrong later
Okay.
on, but I think that's going to happen. Calling it now. Plagueis will be in the High Republic.
Yeah. All right. So we have the doctrine, and then I think that he's this gentleman or lady. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm gonna say a pin. I'm not gonna try to say the name. The doctrine of the dyad in the Force, a Force bond strong as life itself between two Force sensitive. Its comparison to the dyad rule of two was a pale imitation on unworthy but necessary successor. So it looks like they're pulling this up off of probably Wikipedia to, just share some information with us. So again, the rule of two is now, retconned. And so again, this means that Darth Bane, it's not the same. It's not the same. And how he came about, how he, destroyed the Brotherhood of the Sith as well, and how he got where he is, and all the foundation that was created underneath him, and even Darth Zana, and him with the Jedi, and the wars that were going on back then. It's all going to be different. It's not going to be the same. His character development is not going to be the same. He's just going to be the shell of what we know and love of him. So,
So, if you think about it, all those Sith are trying to create a dyad, right?
mhm.
It's going to be so great when we figure out how to create a dyad, and then it just happens by accident with Kylo and Rey.
Yeah.
It makes her even more of a Mary Sue.
And again, like I said, if this diet thing is a Sith thing, then she is a Sith. She's a Sith. She's not, um, and she's
She's not all the Jedi.
no, she's not. And how would that happen? Then because they're saying the dyad is a Sith thing, from what my understanding now.
Yeah.
Oh wow! All right, so Lord Vader, the novelization, it also stated that Plagueis wanted to create a dyad with Palpatine. There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, they made the Sith stupid as well.
Yeah. All right. Oh, there's a lot of comments going on here, and we have like 24 people here. Thank you guys for joining us. This coming on after our noon time and where I live at. I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of those articles that Darth Oprah that Steve shared with me as we were coming
Oh yeah, it gets
live.
worse. It gets way worse.
Which one do you want me to share? The first one that you
Oh yeah, they're really bad, both of them. Keep in mind though that these are rumors,
yeah.
so it's hopefully not true. But given how Disney works, it wouldn't be a surprise if it was true.
Yeah, and the thing is that after and I read it, and I didn't think about bringing up the report about the 28,000 layoff deal kind of shit that's going on with Disney Lucasfilm or Disney in general. This kind of shares with me and convinces me that they're reaching for quick resources of what used to be. There was there's no source material, so they're reaching into the no source material because they need something quick and fast to put in to make money.
Yeah, but if you think about it, Lucasfilm is not pulling its weight financially
Yeah.
because we we saw the Disney finances a while ago,
Yeah.
and Star Wars, I believe, was in the red, or
Yeah.
rather Lucasfilm, and Marvel was pulling its weight and then some.
Yeah.
But if they're struggling with money, right,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to have some successes fast, I don't think they're gonna bet on us on Star Wars
Yeah.
because it hasn't been that profitable so far at all. But
Yeah.
Marvel has. So I'm thinking if they need money fast, they're gonna do more Marvel.
Yeah. All right, so here's the article. Star Wars race solo film will include Broom Boy from The Last Jedi, X-Men Star lineup, or the
Yeah.
Jedi
Oh,
X-Men stars lined up.
just to add to that, a while ago, I think it was last week, the actress who plays Rey,
Mm-hmm.
she's always said she's done with Star Wars. But last
Mm-hmm.
week she said, "Never say never."
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, she said that when she was asked again.
Oh,
So that might lend some credence to this.
okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right. Star Wars reports of a solo movie for Rey claim that an X-Men star has been casted as an adult version of the Force-sensitive Broom Boy, orphan from The Last Jedi. Woohoo, the Broom Boy. This is what we wanted, right, everyone? Woo! All right. Remember that scene, the end of the Last Jedi, the adorable Moppet stable boy at the casino at Canto Bight, who used the Force to call his sweeping brush to him. Oh, they're calling it a sweeping brush. Why did you just call it a broom? And mind you, why are they using our world type stuff when we know that we've seen even in the lore and in the movies that droids and all that did the cleaning and did all that crap? That's just
Yeah.
my thing.
Well, you do have Finn waving around a mop,
Yeah, I know. I
but
know.
they should cast Bruce Campbell as that guy and have him
Uh-huh.
go, "This is my broomstick."
Okay, so he was quickly dubbed Broom Boy, and speculation was rife about where his story would go. Star Wars 8 divided fans, but everyone was interested to see the birth of a new generation of Jedi that was already dismantled in Episode 8. Well, everybody wanted to see the new Jedi Order, created by Luke, and that was dismantled, and that's what I mean. I really don't want to see a other type of Jedi Order that's not created by him, because that's what the lore was supposed to be about. He was supposed to be what his father was meant to be.
You know what they're kind of doing though, if you
Hmm.
think about it, because they basically copied Dark Empire, right?
Yeah.
And what does Luke do after that? He creates the Jedi Academy.
Hmm.
So Rey is Luke in Dark Empire, and then she creates the Jedi Academy.
Yes. Okay.
Which means they're actually
Yeah.
copying more. That wouldn't surprise me at
Of
all,
course. Yeah.
and it
And
would
then,
actually fit.
yeah. And so this is going to be according to them a new breed of Force users. Of course, I Disney Lucasfilm is making the Jedi to look like the bad guys in everything, instead of saying that some of the stuff that they were either misguided, or something could have been done. They're making them as the total bad guys, and that they need to be extinct. And there's a huge difference, because when you look at the original lore and the new Jedi Order, Luke either knowingly or unknowingly, fixed the missteps of the Jedi, but they weren't bad. There's just some things that they strayed from the original Jedi. And like having families and attachment being, entrapping yourself in something that you shouldn't. You could still have families and stuff, but um, but attachment is a whole different thing. And so they're making the new lores, making the Jedi look like the villains, look like they're very, very dysfunctional, when just certain parts of them were dysfunctional, but the overall pretense of the Jedi were not. So I don't know if you feel the same way, Stig, or not about that, but I think that Disney Lucasfilm is turning them into this order that was just very corrupt, I guess you can say, and needs to change, or needs to die. The Jedi need to die.
Yeah, but it's weird though, because why is he saying that? Because sure, the previous Jedi Order failed because of hubris, basically,
Mm-hmm.
and they got complacent.
Yeah.
That was 50 years ago,
Yeah.
and he had it in his power after Return of the Jedi to make something better.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh no, the Jedi has to die.
Yeah,
It
they don't.
doesn't really make sense. If he knows what was wrong with the Jedi Order, then he could fix it.
Mm-hmm. There doesn't need to, because even when you look in the lore, Luke's new Jedi Order, Luke's Jedi that he brings about and stuff like that, were still Jedi. They still stuck to the code. Um, they understood the attachments, and there was a lot of things that they understood, but they allowed families. And when you look back into the lore, the Jedi, they were allowed to have families. So somewhere along the way, that disconnect happened, but it wasn't during the prequel trilogy. The prequel trilogy held on to that concept. That would have been neat to see where that disconnect happened along the way.
Well, it's probably because some human shagged the Twi'lek.
And named their child Jason after Jason
Yeah.
Solo. All right, so let's go on. The sequel trilogy ended up giving someone or everyone whiplash with the speed of storylines changed. While you're saying that mildly, double back on undermining each other from film to film. Whoa, okay. I agree. With J.J. Abrams apparently intent on erasing much of Rian Johnson's plot from The Last Jedi, as Johnson himself had done to Abrams' The Force Awakens. Yeah, we were having this tug of war going on, which, the fans, we recognize that. The fate of Broom Boy and theories the saga would move away from established dynasties were dropped. Rey went from expected Skywalker to a parent orphan, and then back to a Palpatine heir, and then self-professed Skywalker. But President or present persistent rumors suggested she will go on to embrace and train a new type of Jedi, including the grown up broom boy. So basically, they're going back to this rumor. Didn't we hear this in the past that he's going to be the new one?
If she is gonna start a new Jedi Order, why the shit did she bury her lightsabers then?
Yeah, wouldn't that be something to like use to say these were the Skywalker sabers?
Yeah, or
for like historical archiving,
or even hey, this is how a lightsaber works. I have two of them. Let's train.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh goodness. And I know someone said in the chat, the Palpatine new Jedi. That's it. She's a Palpatine. So, and then when we just were talking about the dyad being a Sith thing. So how does this compute? Is she really training Sith?
I don't know. She accidentally fires force lightning now and again, so that's not going to be good.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, well, she didn't know what she was doing. She's got raw power, and she was emotional, blah, blah, blah. We seen Luke be emotional. He didn't shoot out force lightning.
Oh, he's emotional as heck.
Mm-hmm. He even, when Vader threatens his sister by saying, I'll just seduce her and bring her to the dark side, he didn't shoot lightning.
No.
He was protecting his sister, so that's why he, attacked back, because he was like, hell no, she is my family. I'm barely getting a family now. You're not gonna corrupt her. And then so he went full rage on him, yes. And then once he cut off Vader's hand and he looked at his cybernetic hand, his mechanical hand, he was like, oh shit, I am crossing over.
Yeah, and that's the point of the cave scene in episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
If he attacks Vader and kills Vader, he becomes Vader. So you see his face in the helmet, right?
Yeah.
And that's when he realizes it. He's becoming Vader. He looks at his mechanical hand.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically learning his episode 5 lesson right there.
Yeah. And then he has to relearn it all over again in The Last Jedi. It's like he didn't even learn shit.
Yeah. He actually... That was the lesson of episode 6. That was the big finale.
Exactly. And that was his thing of becoming a Jedi Knight. That was his trial.
Yeah. And he forgot about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So let's just finish this article up. We got this covered. Our citing a trusted source who, and then have you noticed like all these spin-off sites are saying we have a trusted source.
Yeah. Yeah.
We won't name them, but we have a trusted source.
Remember a year ago
when
all these YouTubers had contacts in Hollywood and sources that said JJ was a massive fan of Star Wars and he hated Rian Johnson. He was going to fix everything and all that. Everything would be fixed with episode 9. Yeah, it didn't happen, did it? Never trust anyone who claims they have sources.
Yeah, always take it. All this is going to be taken with a grain of salt, but with Disney, Lucasfilm, you never know. So again, take it with a grain of salt. All this, maybe this is something just to vent at and laugh at, and if it does happen, we could be like, oh, shit, kind of deal. But according to the latest leaks, we've now heard the Broom Boy could make his glorious return in the Solo spinoff that's being developed for Daisy Ridley. According to our intel, so we're going to intel to leaks to trusted source. That's funny, which comes from the same source that told us Rey would be revealed as Palpatine's granddaughter, and Ahsoka Tano will be in The Mandalorian. Former X-Men star Ty Sheridan is one actor being eyed for the adult version of Broom Boy.
Wait a minute, is that him?
That's what it looks like. Who's been?
So Broom Boy went from being white to Asian.
Yeah, well, because they don't know how to do their
What?
I don't know. It's just like they took Jan Orr's an Asian character from Dark Forces and made her into Jen
Yeah,
Erso.
but Broom Boy is white in Disney canon. We've seen
Yeah,
him,
reverse of that. Yes.
and now he's Asian.
Again, take this with a grain of salt. So,
Oh yeah, this
all right.
is
So that's the end of the story here. So that's him. So let me see what the chat has to say about this one. Okay. And all the Skywalker. Okay. Old lady asking Ray her name, saw her bury them, and will most likely steal them later. She probably did. She probably is
yeah.
one of those scavengers and it's like, what's this? And it's going to be up in the market again.
I can
So,
actually see that happening in one of the comics. You know, some shady character shows up and as she leaves, and
yeah.
yeah,
Oh my goodness. All right. So Soul Assassin, the sequels are really, 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 really bad what if stories.
yeah. It's
I mean, if you enjoy them, have fun. That's all I have to say about that.
it's basically what if nobody had a brain story.
You know, it's just too bad that they couldn't keep everything in line and have, you know, a storyline to build off of. You know, you would think that, you know, they had the 6 movies prior. So there's the foundation. And then, you know, and then they had at least like 3 different types of story development, story treatments from George that they bought from him and decided not to use. And then you have them even saying, and even the actors and actresses now saying, we didn't know which way we were going, or they didn't know which way they were taking our characters. They didn't know what they were doing. I mean, it's repeated constantly. So they had everything in front of them to build a coherent story.
Yeah. Oh, Andre is saying something um,
Okay.
about the Yoda lessons in Episode 8. You know
Okay.
what?
Go ahead.
When Yoda says, you know, the greatest teacher is failure, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, Luke knows that. He learned it from Yoda in Episode 5, the cave
Yeah.
scene.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you failed. You know, that's why you failed. And then he learns it again when he attacks Vader in Episode 5.
Yeah.
It's how he lost his hand. He has a reminder of that.
Yeah.
That failure is a good teacher, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, he didn't even learn that.
It's they're just repeating from the original trilogy again, but doing it in a twisted, fucked up way. So, Caffeinated Wolf, hello, how are you doing? Why Luke cut off Vader's hand? I learned it from you. All right, I learned it from you. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other article real quick. Just got here, can't listen because work, but to answer the question in the title, it means Disney is still unoriginal and stupid.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and
Also, nude Megatron. Both your energon cubes are showing, by the way.
oh yeah, I see that.
Transformers joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I vaguely remember. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Transformers. I grew up watching them.
They're awesome.
Yes, they are. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the next story. And like I said, go ahead, Steve.
Off topic. Who was your favorite Transformer?
Oh God, shit. Name them off for me. It's been a while. I know that there's shit. It's been a while.
You know, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee,
Yeah.
Ironhide, Grimlock.
Yeah.
You know.
I've always liked Optimus Prime, but he's like the protagonist of the show.
Yeah, I always liked Ironhide.
Yeah, and I was gonna say Ironhide is another one as well. So Man, I have to go review that. It's been a quick minute, but I used to wake up in the morning, and that's one of the things I used to put on in the morning, fix myself a bowl of cereal, and then enjoy. So let's see, where's that? Star Wars ending, Ray. Oh, yes, here we go. Okay, so you guys, this is a very interesting one in its own self. Let me go ahead and
Oh yeah,
close.
this is from the same site. Like I said, it gets dumber.
So we apologize for this. I
Yeah.
mean, if you guys like the storyline and like the relationship thing with them and stuff, then maybe that you'll rejoice in this. So so here we go. I've been
This is every Raylo's wet dream.
yeah
Finger poking impregnates you.
yeah doesn't make sense. So if this is true, then there are going to be backstories with that. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to be off in a little bit. Okay. Bye. All right. Star Wars 9 Indian Rey is pregnant by Kylo Ren's in final scene. So Star Wars 9, The Rise of Skywalker is finally out. Did Kylo Ren really impregnate Rey in those emotional and devastating final scenes? Is it twins? Oh, so they're going with the Luke and Leia twin kind of thing. Okay. Let's see here. And there's a McDonald's ad if anybody's hungry. The
Oh,
Skywalker
it's
saga is finally over, or is it?
foreshadowing.
Yeah,
Foreshadowing. 'Cause the article is a nothing burger.
it's a nothing burger. Yeah, is there really a new heir to the dynasty on the way? Rilo fans had been waiting for years for this pesky pair to finally get together, and Episode 9 delivered some major emotional catharsis catharsis or whatever. I can't even. Yeah, before swiftly following with yet more devastation. Did one incredibly powerful moment actually indicate Rey is pregnant? All right, so let's go on with the story. There are four major clues that Skywalker line lives on in more than just spirit. Impressively argued on Quora by Star Wars and Games of Thrones expert Kelsey L. Hayes. Okay, first the who. Okay, so who uses firstly in first? I mean, firstly, it should be first. That moment when Kylo Ren heals Rey, he lays his hands on her stomach and pours his essence into her. Some fans now believe he actually planted new life in her. That's not how force healing works.
Yeah, and if that's all it took to make a forced baby, Palpatine could have made 100. Well, he wouldn't
He
even
didn't
need
need to
clones.
clone. He
He
didn't
wouldn't
need to
even need.
clone.
Yeah, I could just put a hand on some twat's belly and just, yeah, you're gonna have a baby in 9 months,
Yeah,
and,
because I'm.
and I'm gonna possess it.
Yeah. My God. So the force healing doesn't work that way. So if you heal someone and put them in the force trance, which they do poorly in the Rise of Skywalker, because if you know the lore, if the force healer is putting you in the trance, sometimes they even have to lay with you sometimes. And they have to meditate for you sometimes, depending on how strong the force healer is. And they put you in the trance, and then you go to sleep. That's what the trance is about. And then your body heals. And then after that, then you wake them up, and then the person who comes out of the trance, they're still very weak because their body goes through that extensive healing period. And so that means you're down for a while, and you have to eat, you have to get moving and such like that. And then if it's organs, like what was it, Darkness Trilogy, when Kylo is stabbed through the stomach with a lightsaber, and when Mara Jade is shot in her torso, her organs were severely damaged. Force healing does not regenerate organs.
No, and it certainly doesn't create organs. But
Yeah.
if this is turned into a movie, though,
Mhm.
I know what the soundtrack's gonna be.
What is it?
When I get this feeling, I need sexual healing.
It's going to be brilliantly made by John Williams in orchestra.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Third, it would then also help explain why Ben Solo did not appear as a Force ghost at the end. What? That still doesn't make sense. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
because
it does. I mean, so
oh,
he's
and
inside her as a fetus now, and so she's calling herself a Skywalker.
well, Kylo did have mommy issues, but you know, and this is from a Game of Thrones and Star Wars expert, and
Uh
the
huh.
expert doesn't know why Kylo didn't appear as a Force ghost.
Yeah. Correct.
He wasn't trained in that. That's it. An expert.
Exactly.
Well, you don't even have to be an expert to know that. All you have to
Yeah.
do is watch the movies.
But that's funny because okay, so Luke didn't train him in that. You would think that from the beginning of training, because shit happens, and you never know when you're going to die, that you teach your students how or train them to become a Force ghost as part of their training as they advance and stuff, because Jedi they are peace negotiators and stuff like that, correct, but they also learn to fight if they need to,
Yeah,
which
and
means
they don't really start off with, "Hey, hey, student, this is what you do when you die."
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, we never really seen, training when it comes to become a Force ghost. We are just understood that it's taught. So does that mean that Luke Skywalker like failed his nephew? You know? But then when you hear all these Force ghosts talking to Rey, some of them were Force ghosts some of them died before Qui-Gon taught Yoda and Obi-Wan. And my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that in the original lore, that if once you're dead and you're not taught, then you're already transcended back into the basically quote unquote spirit world or into the Force, and so you're done. You already made your journey or whatever. However, like with Anakin Skywalker, he was taught upon dying how to do that because they even told him we got to teach you quickly, and I'm paraphrasing, or you may never learn to become a Force
Yeah.
ghost.
eh,
But that's the original lore, and that's something shady. I mean, kind of like like oh crap, they had to try to squeeze that in because Anakin came back as a Force ghost, kind of deal.
It's like, I'm dying. Let me touch a belly.
Yeah, let me touch your belly so I can relive in you and be reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, the argument is that he has also become one with Rey, sharing his life force with her. He will only truly pass over onto the forest when she dies. Oh my god. So he's trapped
Actually,
in her body?
actually, that could kind of make sense though, because if he put a lot of his essence in there, there's not enough to make a Force ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically split in the afterlife. Actually, that could make sense in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but it still doesn't make sense before that happens. So
Yeah, and so this is what happens when they bring in force healing in the lore. We did see it just like I think one time in the Clone Wars, and correct me if I'm wrong, is when they found Mortis and they were force healing Ahsoka. The daughter was using Anakin to force heal Ahsoka or whatever. I could be wrong on that, but and I don't, as far as I know it, there was no force healing in the Clone Wars, but there was in the rest of the EU at the time. So this is probably the most satisfying and least disturbing part of the entire
and
theory.
there was Force healing in the EU before that,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
because Barris.
Yeah. She was a force healer.
I want to read those books, the Barris books.
Yeah. Finally, there is a very compelling argument which actually supersedes all the others. Okay. Oh, hello. Look at that. Okay. Um, would Disney and Lucasfilm really, I would say just Disney, Lucasfilm, really end the core Skywalker blood so completely? Yes, because look how they just treated the original Skywalkers in the first place.
Yeah, they even crossed out Luke Skywalker while they were working on the script.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I believe so. It's not just an emotional argument, nor does it take into account fan servicing. Force knows Disney has had a very uneven approach to servicing fans all along. Yeah, you're being very light about that. A
Yeah, that's
much
because
more,
they've been catering to people who just became fans 2 years ago.
yeah, yeah. And are calling, using the argument that Luke is the Mary Sue or Gary Stu and Ray isn't, and or whatever, using those kind of arguments to justify, you know um, the new characters. Much more likely is the purely business consideration that there may be a future Skywalker opportunities on the big screen and small, as well as other related canon products. So there
You
you
know,
go, guys, go, ladies and gents.
what they could have done
Mm-hmm.
if they want to bring Skywalkers back, they could have just, add that Luke had a son or daughter somewhere,
Yeah.
because we don't know if that's happened or not.
Yeah. That's.
That's actually all they have to do. Luke has a son that's hiding on this planet, or a daughter or something. You know,
But would you still like that? Would you still be like,
no,
okay?
it the Disney canon is still ruined, but that could explain a new Skywalker. And
Mm-hmm.
didn't George Lucas say? I think it was Lucas or JJ that said there was a secret Skywalker in Episode 9, but we don't. Well, they probably didn't use anything George Lucas thought they would anyway. But I remember George saying that there was a secret Skywalker in Episode 9.
Mm-hmm.
But that could have been Ray. That just, oh yeah, Ray Palpatine identifies as a Skywalker, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So, baby, 50-year-old Yoda, do your magic, or do you magic thingy? I don't agree with the baby Yoda much.
Yeah, a toddler using that complex of force power is stupid because he doesn't even have training. And George Lucas
Yeah.
even said it. You can't do anything but passive force abilities without a lot of training, years of training.
Yeah, and then people who defend, well, he's 50 years old, so he had time to train. Well, within that 50 years old, he was basically a newborn infant,
Yeah.
baby, and now toddler. Are they calling him the child? Which means that his mentality is still developing as well. So,
Also, he could have been frozen for most of those 50 years.
yeah, we have no idea. They're assuming training, but then from who and where? Because during that time, during his time frame when he was born, and even coming up into the OT, we have Luke as the only Jedi. Now, if and then then they say, well, his species are known to be strong Force users. Yeah, we see three in that species, but that doesn't mean that the entire species are a strong Force society either.
Nope.
So I mean, we don't know nothing about them. And so yeah, then people say, well, we don't know, so maybe that means that they are. I still will say this is that if you look, and I'm going to go back to the original lore, if
You,
you look at Yoda's growth when he was found, he didn't even know he was force sensitive. He didn't even know anything about it, basically.
you know, you know that scene where Baby Yoda force heals.
Uh-huh.
Uh, what's the point of that if they had back display anyway?
Yeah,
Why didn't they use back display in that scene?
I know, right?
Yeah, it seems to work even better than force heal.
Yeah, back to your post, yeah, depending on the wounds and stuff, you could be in there for weeks or a
Yeah,
month.
but on the Mandalorian,
Yeah, I
they
know.
just had a spray can. They just because people were mortally wounded.
Yeah,
The Mandalorian was, and they just sprayed Bacta on it, and
yeah,
10 minutes later he's fighting a Tie fighter. So why
yeah,
not just use that on who was it? Carl Weathers' character was dying.
yeah.
Yeah, could have just sprayed him.
And if you look into the dynamics of the original lore, if a pilot is injured in whatever way, they're not recommended to fly. And so I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it at that. So let's go ahead and take a look at these other. I actually can visualize my brain leaking. Ooh, yikes! I'm sorry, hon. The Nerdist Megatron really Apollo. Okay, that was
40 minutes ago.
yeah, that was. Let me see. There's a lot of going on here. I'm trying to. All right, Baby Yoda is the new secret chosen one. They just need to leave the chosen one arc alone and just let it be Anakin.
Well, he's not, because Rey destroyed the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing to be chosen for anymore.
Yeah. Why has not Force Ghost Yoda appeared to Baby Yoda yet? Oh Lord. I don't know. I bet they're gonna say with Sith accidentally created Baby Yoda, and Baby Yoda was created by the will of the Force. Oh my God.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I know, right? Baby Yoda dolls would make for great target practice on the range. I might just do that, to be honest, while you enjoy yourself.
If you do that, film it and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, I know someone who would really like that. Ryan. So the set no Yoda Yaddle, but no Baby Yoda in the Jedi Order.
Well, you don't have to sleep with anyone to create a baby now, so maybe someone touched Yaddle's stomach at one point.
Oh my God, Yoda! He healed her and gave him Yaddle part of his essence.
Yeah.
Bacta doesn't heal toxins and venom.
No, not in the old lore, but we don't know in the new because they don't bother explaining anything.
Yeah, Bacta does. It's the miracle healer. Yes, it is, but there are certain things that it doesn't do, and I like that because then it's not this like go-to thing all the friggin' time when someone has something going on. Just like force healing, it's not the go-to thing as well. And like I said with Dark Empire, Mara Jade couldn't go into or she couldn't even go into a healing trance to heal her organs, and they had to basically grow her a new organ. I think it was a kidney or something, and take care of her that way because healing trance doesn't do that. Yeah. Let's see here. Those creatures had venom. Let's see here. Is that Donald's sign and ad? Are there going to be Star Wars as well? It's just an ad. Baby Yoda wouldn't beat Babu Frick. The showdown of the littles in Star Wars. Okay. I actually really love Baby Yoda. That's one of the reasons why I love the Mando. The Mando is basically the adventures of babysitting. That's all it is. There's nothing to really look forward to. He's just gonna trek around with that damn baby. Sorry. That's just how I feel.
Safe sex in Star Wars involves gloves now.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Well, will the gloves repel the force though? Who knows? Okay.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, so I don't know. Andre, do you think Yoda can force heal like the child?
No.
No, we didn't see that. I mean, we didn't see these extravagant kind of bull crap that we're seeing now. Yeah, there were some things that were it's kind of like, oh crap, did that really happen in the EU kind of deal? But I mean, we're now witnessing the same thing, I guess. But I don't know. What do you think about that, Stig? Do you think that what we're seeing now, like with the Baby Yoda, outweighs some of the bad stuff that we've seen in the EU? Or like replaces the bad things we've seen in the EU?
No, it goes full retard. But Yoda can't force heal like the child, because if he did, he could have force healed Wookiees all the time at the Kashyyyk battle.
Yeah.
Yet he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have force healed clone troopers all the time during the Clone Wars as well.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Baby Yoda was born the same year as Anakin.
Yep.
correct? But they didn't feel that in the Force either. I mean, we knew Anakin wasn't felt, but he was felt by Plagueis and Palpatine in a sense, but they didn't know who it was or what was going on. But so go ahead and read Plagueis novel. It's friggin' amazing. Read it. So let's see here. The stuff that was back to 2.0 in the EU, I think it would be called Rilka. Rilka. There we go. From the Kryos trap. Yeah, there's different type of healing things. We learn. We kind of get an idea of what makes it Bacta. So, and it's a variance of components, I guess you could say, together. So. All right. Well, I'm off to work. Take care. Thank you so much for coming in, Trayla. You have a good day.
Take care and be well.
Yes. Orange Chat reviews the stuff I think can heal toxins. That'd be a good thing. That'd be a good video, lore video for me to do, like the different types of Bacta components and what they can do and stuff. That'd be fun. All right. Vertical Horizons. The Mando will reluctantly give Baby Yoda to Ahsoka after she discovers he's Force sensitive, and that will spin off into new show or season where they look for Ezra. Just my predictions. I think I've heard that multiple times.
I think you're spot on about that.
Yeah.
And of course, they get to have Ahsoka be a single mom, which is gonna please all the feminists.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 bounty hunters and a Baby Yoda. Then the 3 bounty hunters and an adolescent Yoda. Yeah, that's what it seems like it's going from. I would say I had slight interest, or I had interest to see where they were going to go with the Mandalorians, despite with me not liking the way that the Clone Wars took them. And, that's all I'm going to say about that right now, because that can turn into a huge debate on here, and I want to end this in a timely manner. I lost my train of thought now because I said all that shit. But the Mandalorian, sorry. And I'm just hungry, you guys. So I had this interest to see what they were going to do, because we knew, the Clone Wars is now a part of the lore, which means that there is some Mandalorian lore being brought in from the original EU. And so I was really interested to see where they were going to go, because we know that, they were turned into like a faction of them, or all of them, or whatever, were turned into pacifists. And we knew that, from me seeing just little bits and pieces of the rebels, we see them, without helmets and stuff. And then knowing the lore in itself, I was like, okay, so which direction are they going to go? And then I realized that, Din, or whatever his name is, basically his backstory is Jango Fett's, backstory.
Yeah, they just ripped off Jango Fett.
Mm-hmm. And so now that evolved into, this adventures in babysitting Mandalorian 2.0 kind of deal. Am I gonna watch the new season? I might keep track of it just out of curiosity. I don't know. What about you, Stieg?
The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. It's most of the episodes are exactly the same episodes you'll see as filler episodes on any sci-fi show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, having the heroes help a village fend for themselves. I mean, it's been done in every sci-fi show ever made, almost.
Yeah.
It's just, and most of the fan service stuff is just put in there in a way that doesn't even make sense. I mean,
yeah,
you have stormtrooper helmets on display as trophies on Tatooine. The Empire didn't even have a presence on Tatooine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So, Lord Vader, Stig, do you like or hate Baby Yoda?
I hate Baby Yoda. I hate him. He's annoying and he's a plot hole.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that you like him and that you get to watch him in season 2. So
yeah,
good for Lord Vader.
Yeah.
If he likes it, he likes it.
And that's the thing. If you like, the new lore, that's fine and stuff. I again, my heart stays with George Lucas era Star Wars, and that's why we're here. Is like, what, how would this affect Legends when Legends characters, our original characters, are being brought in? And that's part of the roundtable discussion here. Is the Darth Bane, being brought in. What does that mean? With the Rule of Two, and the Rule of Two, being retconned, and how he is the father of the Rule of Two. And I think that they're just going to totally destroy the character. He's just going to be the shell of who he used to be. And those people who are excited for him, good for you. But I will say this, it's not the same character. It won't be the same character.
Nope.
And it'll just be by name. And maybe looks.
Yeah, and Disney lore suggests that it's impossible that it's the same character.
Yeah. And then Soul Assassin, what if Disney Lucasfilm was watching OG videos and doing the opposite of what she's says? Well, they did, take down one of my videos. So, and it's funny because it was for Clone Wars 2003 little video clip that I used, and not for the actual, I think it was the Attack of the Clones, I believe, or the Revenge of the Sith. I think it was Attack of the Clones. I used one of the trailer clips from there, but I, mixed it around, and I mixed around the Clone Wars 2003, and I still got copyrighted for the Clone Wars 2003. So I thought that was kind of crazy. And so my video was pulled, and I had to re-edit it. So I think they are watching, basically. I think they are. Okay. Stig, some people feel like they don't care about Mando because the story ends with the sequels, and we're going to end up in a world with Rey Palpatine. And I think that's the whole thing. It's just that problem, I would say problem, or disconnect, basically. Andre, let's hope they're ignoring the sequel in the future. They can't do it.
Well, they can ignore it, but even if they ignore it, the sequels are still canon, so the change is there.
Yeah. And if they do get their butt straight and start following lore, then they're not going to be able to ignore what they did. So, I mean, if they go the MCU route and all that, where, they recreate the story of a certain character, like we see with Spider-Man and stuff like that, and Batman, and, I'm just using those characters as example, then I think that's the way they need to go, or they would go, is that, they would just have to re-event the story every time they make a new one. But is that Star Wars? No, Star Wars is known for its continuity and its consistency. So, all right. Personally, I'd rather keep any Mando its own thing instead of connecting it with the Skywalker saga and or the Clone Wars. The thing is people don't understand, and I just got done saying this, is that Star Wars is one continued history and lore. Eventually they gotta tie in somehow. And this is right after, like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, which means it's still within the same time frame. And you still have Luke Skywalker there. Should they bring him in? Maybe not. But if they're going to talk about the Jedi, like they have, we got at least hear about him.
Yeah, and it's going to be weird, though, because if they bring Luke in and they have Ahsoka there, Luke's going to be, hey, why didn't you show up and train me when we were both a part of the rebellion? I mean, seriously, Ahsoka was around, and she heard about someone named Skywalker blowing up the Death Star, and she didn't put two and two together.
Yeah. And knowing that Vader's still alive, and then there's a Skywalker that then she'd be like, what, Padme? And like you said, put two together. The kids did survive, kind of deal. And I think that kind of just further destroys the lore in a sense, if that would happen, because then we are understanding no one knew until Vader found out that there's surviving Skywalkers. So I don't know. I mean, it's just I don't know. All right, OG, need to have snack size Snickers bars ready for these type of videos. Yes, I do, and it worked out. And I did eat a little bit before I came on. I decided to because I teach yoga and I do yoga, but I used to do like boot camps, hit plyos kind of workout and stuff like that. And I decided to return back into that type of fitness as well. And I used to jog or run as well. So I'm starting to introduce all that other stuff back into my body. So yeah, I'm tired and then I feel like I'm hungry more now. Um, Lord Vader, there was an episode of Clone Wars where they defend a village on Felicia. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Filoni ripped off Seven Samurai for that one.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, it is. It's seven Jedi's defending a village against
Yeah,
bandits, and then he did
yeah,
it again in the Mandalorian. He actually
yeah.
did the same episode twice.
Mm,
That's not a
yeah.
lot of effort.
Yeah. 3 episodes out of the 8 were good. Others were mediocre at best. Yeah. One of my favorite was the Chow.
Here's here's a question for the chat.
Okay.
If the Mandalorian had no references to Star Wars at all, it was just a regular sci-fi show,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a different name and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you still think it was good? Would you still watch it if there was
Ooh.
nothing Star Wars about it? Because I don't think many would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what, Stig? The thing is like people are like, well, we need to steer away from the Skywalkers. We need to, move away from the Skywalkers. But the Star Wars is the Skywalkers. Yeah, we have Couture that doesn't have them, and that's great. And then we have some novels like series that doesn't have them, like the X-Wing. And we did have, Luke make a brief, cameo in there as well. But the thing is, when you look at the overall Star Wars lore, it is the Skywalkers. Yeah, there could be spin-offs without the Skywalkers, obviously, and stuff. But when you look at an overall, it's about the chosen one. It's about the family and their struggles, and about recreating the new Jedi Order and all that. And I think that they're still vital. Yeah, there doesn't have to be, there could be spin-offs, like I said, without them, but they're still vital to the story. Like Leia is vital to the story. Their next generation is vital to the story. I think that's how George planned it to be. He even stated, the song or the movies or the lore is about, Anakin or the father, the children and the grandchildren, and it's even in the novels. So, but that's just my thought on that. All right, I would rather Disney just stop trying and failing to make Star Wars content, but that's just me. Lord Vader, there are rumors that Luke will be in season 2 of Mando because his X-wing was near the Razor chest, and I have to go back and re-watch that trailer. I missed that, and I didn't, and I keep on hearing that, but I didn't go rewatch. Luke will be a cameo for one of the episodes, nothing more. Oh shit.
Well, what's the point? Because Luke dies from an overdose on a rock like a hobo anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So who the heck cares about Luke anymore? He's actually pointless
Yeah.
in Star Wars now because it was all about Ray Palpatine.
Yeah. Then Andre would hate Luke in the Mando. Andre, Filoni breaking canon as usual.
Yeah, he's actually broken both Disney canon and Lucas canon so far.
Yeah, yeah. Hits can tire you out fast. How was that ripoff? No, it wasn't. So I think he's probably saying that he is that used the samurai, or about Filoni using the village, being saved by samurai kind of deal. I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
So, and then Anstig, that episode in Mando was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, but it was written by Filoni and Favreau.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't Filoni from the first season, is he executive producer or is it just Favreau executive producer? Are they both? I don't remember. I don't remember. All right. But I know that Filoni did do an episode or two, and I think he did one episode, and I'm sorry, and I didn't know that it was his episode until I looked it up when at the time that I watched it, and that was one of the worst episodes, or the worst episode. And
Oh yeah, that one, the one with the village.
yeah,
Yeah, that one was marvelously stupid. I mean,
well,
they
I
had
he
they
go
had
ahead.
Cara Dune in there, right?
Yeah.
A veteran from the Endor battle, and
Hmm.
they're on a forested planet, and she
Hmm.
tells them nothing on this planet that can do damage to an ATSD. On Endor, the battle she's a veteran from, the Ewoks used lumber to destroy the ATSDs.
Hmm.
So they're on a forested planet with lumber, and she says there's nothing on this planet that can harm them.
I
The
know.
only
I
time
caught that.
the only time we actually see them get destroyed in the movies are with lumber. You
Yeah.
know, it's so stupid. And even if they didn't use the lumber, they could just go back to the Mandalorian ship because that one
Hmm.
has cannons on it.
Wasn't she on Endor? Wasn't it said that? Or she did cleanup on Endor.
Yeah, so she would have
So
been.
she should have known that there was primitive methods of destroying them.
Yeah, it was the final battle, basically, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure everyone got told the details of it.
exactly.
How
I
did we
mean,
win?
yeah. Oh, well, the Ewoks came in and they, set up traps with the logs and, and trebuchets and all that. Yeah. So I thought that was misleading as well because I'm like, are you serious? She does it. She's saying this, but then she was the one that went in and kind of cleaned up, mopped up after the battle. And she didn't know this. So there was a huge disconnect with that. And I'm like, really, come on, people, you need to, pay attention to the lore, especially the movie lore. If you're gonna base something off the movie and you're gonna bring a character that, is basically behind, that was there in a sense and did the mop up afterwards. There's that. So yeah. Oh my god. All right, Razvin, the laser cannon on the X-wing on the right side of the blue stripe. I will take a look. Um I thought the X-wings were striped orange. Am I wrong?
I wouldn't know because I'm colorblind.
Okay, I'll have to take a look at that. So Filoni is just ripping off Wolf and Cub.
Uh, no, it has similarities, but it's uh, yeah.
Yeah, Dave Filoni just wants to do a Teen Wolf show set in Star Wars. His Wolf. He did one episode. Yes, he did.
Yeah, but he directed one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not saying that he did the one where they were fighting the AT.
Yeah, that's
AT.
the Bryce Dallas Howard one.
Yeah, Steve was just referring to some scenes in there and stuff, but the one, and I don't remember it now. I haven't revisited the Mandalorian, but when I was curious about who did the episode where I was like, oh my god, this one is like the worst one ever. I looked it up and it was Filoni, and I'm sorry, I'm not saying that because Filoni did that. It's just that I didn't know who produced or did that episode, and then I looked it up, and so that's just my opinion. But then other people I talked to about the episode, they're like, yeah, he produced one of the worst episodes in the season one. Chow basically did the one of the best ones in there, and
Deborah Chow was awesome.
yeah, and and to be all fair about Filoni, he's not used to doing this kind of stuff. He's an animator. And that's where you could really tell that it was his episode once you put two and two together, because it was very similar to how he thought his thought process with the animation. So there you go. No, the village episode was Bryce. Oh yeah, He's restating that. Worst episode was in the Gunslinger. I think Filoni directed that one where they go back to Tatooine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
where they trade technology with the Sand People. The
mhm.
Sand People that hate technology on a religious level.
Exactly. And within 5 years or just so much time, no, they're not going to change because they never changed throughout the whole damn lore. Now all of a sudden they're going to have a change of heart and go against their own cultural beliefs. So that was kind of
Yeah,
off to me. When you know about that, that's off, really.
yeah.
Um,
It's like the only species you shouldn't trade technology with.
yeah. I wonder if the Ewoks treated Cara Dune like Princess Leia, trying to put her in a dress while she punt kicks the Ewoks. I don't know. All right. Um, it has baby in a cart.
Yeah, yes, it does. It actually
Hmm.
does. There's certainly similarities with it.
Yeah. And then he says the worst episode, in his opinion, was the Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh yeah, and she's the one they praised the most
Mm-hmm.
in media. Oh yeah, finally a great female director. No, Deborah Chow was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Deborah Chow's and stuff. Yeah. So, anyways, let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. We've been here on here for like a little over 2 hours now. So, Stieg, again, your final thoughts. What do you think about the original characters being brought in? I know we discussed this before, and what do you think about this rumor about Bane? So, just go ahead and recap on that, and then also tell them where they can find you.
Well, well, I think sometimes big companies like Disney and stuff will leak ideas and then
Mm-hmm.
see how the public reacts to them, right?
Yeah.
Basically, just fishing. And I think if any of this is true, this is probably what it is. But Disney just laid off 28,000 people, which is
Yeah.
a sixth of their employees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can afford to make all these Star Wars movies and shows.
Yeah.
Uh, it's, I mean, just shooting them now is problematic due to COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So I think this is clickbait. I don't think these news sites have the contacts they claim they have,
Mm-hmm.
or if they do, that those contacts are even reliable.
Yeah.
So I think take all of this with a big, handful of salt,
Yeah.
right? Um,
And just with the money that they're spending on The Mandalorian to produce, and then all these cuts and stuff like that, no, I don't think that there is anything in the budget right now. They would seriously need to have the theaters open and have the release of some of the movies that they have on standby to gain some type of money, if they can, back.
Also, it seems they have canceled Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah.
I saw something about that. So I don't see them canceling Indiana Jones 5 and then, you know, doing a Ray Solo movie or a Broom Boy movie, right?
Yeah.
That just makes no sense because Indiana Jones is a massive brand.
Mm-hmm.
Broom Boy is not,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I don't think any of this is going to happen. But if it does happen, I wouldn't be surprised because they seem to go for the every time there's a new Star Wars movie and you think, yeah, they're absolutely not going to go do this because it's stupid. Sure as
Mm-hmm.
heck, sure as heck, that's what they do,
Yeah.
you know. But to be honest, I'm just at this point. I hope they just screw it up more and more because that means the chance of Disney having to sell Star Wars increases, and that's a chance for the EU coming back, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
Lucas era stuff coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, I have a tiny YouTube channel that I really don't give a shit about, but I've been putting out some videos on it. some old commercials and stuff, and I made another top 5 list today.
Oh, yes, you guys go watch it.
Yeah, it's not very PC, so don't expect PG-13. It's probably most offensive to a lot of people, but
Yeah.
people seem to like them anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting into too much trouble for some really weird reasons, so
Yeah.
that's it. Also, leave me alone on Twitter. I'm grumpy.
Let him
Get
have
off.
the time right now. He's being a grumpy old man right now.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
Oh my God. All right. So I guess that's what's going on with Stig right now. Thank you again, Stig, for coming on. This was very last minute. I was debating on if I should do a breaking news type live stream or if I should just do a video and just go over some of the articles and give my thoughts. And I thought, well, if he wants to, then we can have like a little round table and discuss it with him and I back and forth and with the chat.
Oh,
And
and tomorrow I'll be on this channel again, and we'll be talking
yes,
about the 4-part comic called Infinity's End, which is a
yes,
sequel to the one we did last week. And
yeah.
it's Quinlan Voss, and he goes to Dathomir, and it's, there's like those hot Night Sisters in there. And I know Soul Assassin. I'm gonna ask Laura to zoom in. Quite
Yeah,
often.
he's looking forward to that. Honestly, he is. So be prepared, Soul Assassin, for some fun, I guess you could say, and him mind reading and all that. Yes. Yeah, so that is tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. my channel, Pacific Standard Time. I've been having fun reading through these comics and sharing them with you. So kind of doing something a little bit different with Coffee Chat. And it's fun because we can review them on screen with you guys and go through not by, page by page, but just, certain areas and discuss the comics. I think it's really, really fun. And again, I'm, exploring the comics, which I should have done when I was little, but hey, that's okay. It's been fun. And this has been fun with you guys here as well. I am so glad I decided to do this live stream and Stig was able to come in and we can discuss this. Myself, and I think there's other people that I've talked to that are really into the EU. This is just going to be, if this does happen, this is just going to be a shell of who the character is. So you're just praising the name, not the character or the development, because it's not going to be the same character. And if you're excited by it, I am happy for you. Myself, I prefer the characters as their original form. I prefer Thrawn in the original lore versus in the new canon because they're distinctively different. Even his planet is different. He's not from Chrysella. He is from a different planet within the Chiss ascendancy. And there's even other little dynamics that they changed on him that doesn't make him who he is in the original lore. So, I encourage you guys, even if you like Thrawn in the new canon, explore the differences so you know that he's not the same. Even his intellectual shit, I can't even talk. Even his intelligence isn't the same. So even his dynamics of studying art and stuff, and his brilliance and tactical reasoning is not the same. And we see that revealed in the Rebels, series. So again, like it, that's fine. I myself, I'd rather just stick to the original character or the original lore. I believe that Disney should have stuck and had their foot down on wanting a clean slate and sticking with that and given new characters and stuff. They could, and I even believe that they should have, left the so-called Skywalker saga or the movies alone and just went on a total different path with a new trilogy. I think that they would have fared way better than what they're trying to do now. But that's just me. If you agree, that's great. If not, then that's fine. More power to you. So we're going to conclude it here. Thank you guys so very much. You could find me tomorrow morning again here on my channel discussing the comics. And then possibly tomorrow night on Queen's Council on Lorena's channel. I believe she's the one who's hosting it, so follow me there as well and have some fun. And I believe that's the rest of my channels, the rest of my live streams for the rest of the week. Keep a lookout for the Jedi lore, the Jedi Sentinels. That's in production, and I think that's it for now. And oh yeah, and pick up, was it Death Troopers?
Yeah, Death Troopers. It's for our
Yeah.
book club in 3 weeks. Yeah, we're reading Death Troopers, and in 3 weeks we're gonna have a book club stream and talk about it.
Exactly. And so I will announce that it might still be Thursday night, but I will give you guys notice in a timely manner on that as well. And yeah, so pick up the Death Troopers book, read it. It is in Audible. It says it's unabridged. It doesn't look like it is, but we'll see. So go ahead and follow along, read along. I will post some information like where I'm at with reading it and everything, and maybe do some clips from the Audible just to give you guys an excitement and stuff on what's going on with the channel as well. So there we go. I'm going to go through these last of these comments, and then we will shut things down. Okay, Vertical Horizon. Thrawn deserved to be on the big screen, not under Disney.
Yeah, they should have done the Thrawn trilogy in animated form, really, at some point. But Disney threw it all out, so yeah, now we get Gargamel instead.
Yeah, I've heard you many times compare him to Gargamel. All right, the Sentinel. The ones with the bad takes have too much power as it is. So,
yeah.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys coming in on this last minute live stream, and for your guys' continued support. And we will catch you tomorrow morning. So be ready. If you read the Infinities, then you can follow along and discuss it with us. If you haven't, then please pick them up and start reading. It's so much fun.
It's so much fun, and it's so well written and ties so well into stuff too.
Exactly. So thank you again, and you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you.